Good morning and welcome to BDO's Regional Investment Attraction Fund webinar. I'm Grant Morris. I'm the Infrastructure Advisory Partner here in the New South Wales Sydney office. Before we get started today, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm hosting the webinar on the lands of the Gadigal people, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders both past and present. Before we get started today, just a few housekeeping elements. Everyone's microphones are currently on mute. We will be accepting questions throughout the presentation in the question tab that's on your screen. At the end of the presentation, we'll follow up with any questions and respond to those. Lastly, if you do have any technical difficulties, there's a support button on the on your screen, and please feel free to press that if you're having audio difficulties, and we'll try to address that for you. I'd like to pass proceedings now on to Mark McClean, Director of Industries, and Joe Hewitt, Investment Strategy Program Manager from the Office of Regional Economic Development in the Department of Regional New South Wales. Thanks, Mark.
Brilliant. Thank you, Grant, and thank you everyone for your time. So we've got this opportunity to give you a bit of an overview of the Regional Investment Activation Fund, and also just extend that acknowledgement of country. So acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're meeting on today, and pay respects to elders past, present and future. And today I come to you from the Awabakal lands of Newcastle. Next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit about the Office of Regional and Economic Development. So we are pretty unique. We sit in the Department of Regional New South Wales, a pretty large agency with around 5,000 staff, and we basically are focused on investment attraction, promotion and strategy, and we're quite unique in that we're the only regional focused investment promotion agency in Australia. Our goal really is to make New South Wales, or regional New South Wales, that #1 choice for investors internationally and domestically. And I guess we do this through a range of services. Facilitation is one of the key services that we provide, and information provision, and then also through a number of grant programs, which we'll touch on today. So as mentioned, really the focus is to make regional New South Wales a preferred location, and we do this through a number of avenues. We're really focused on ensuring that we are growing our priority sectors and industries, which I'll touch on in a second. And we have that specialist expertise and deep subject matter expertise that we're building. A little bit about the results in the last 2 years. So through a number of our funds, we've facilitated capital investment just over $500 million and attracted over 5,500 FTE jobs into regional New South Wales. Next slide, please. So this is just a little bit about the focus of Invest Regional and the Office of Regional and Economic Development. So we've opted to focus on 3 priority growth sectors in regional New South Wales: agri-food, technology and clean economy. And what we're doing there is deep subject matter expertise to really understand the USPs across those sectors, really deep diving into supply chain, research and development, understanding market trends and emerging technologies, and really using that information to attract new investment and grow those priority sectors. So we have a small team of around 25 people across regional New South Wales that are focused on attracting investment in these priority sectors, and also across a number of precincts across regional New South Wales, which we'll just go to the next slide, please. So precincts is a big focus for us as well, and many will know through the Snowy Hydro Legacy scheme, there was a $4.2 billion fund established, and as part of that, the establishment of the Special Activation Precinct program. So $1 billion allocated to that program, 6 special activation precincts across regional New South Wales. And these are basically large bodies of land that the government are working on to activate. The precincts that we have currently, the Snowy Mountains precinct around the Jindabyne area. We've also got Moree and Narrabri, Wagga, Parks, and then the William Town Special Activation Precinct as well. We've got regional job precincts also, and 36 other priority precincts. So we're really focused on attracting investment into these precincts and across regional New South Wales. We are location agnostic, and we try and find the best location for the investor. So I think the next slide will go into an overview of our new fund, which I'll pass to Jo Hewitt just to give us a run through. And Jo, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. We're here today to talk about the Regional Investment Activation Fund, which is $110 million that's been committed from the New South Wales Government. And it's really about attracting new private sector investment for sustainable employment opportunities, increased productivity, innovation, and competitiveness of businesses in regional New South Wales. These projects are large-scale catalytic projects that we're looking to attract into the state. Next slide, thanks. So in terms of the objectives of this fund, it's to support both existing and new and emerging industries, and looking at really activating the economic potential of those priority locations that Mark was just talking about. Again, touching on that employment opportunities and making sure that we have sustainable outcomes for employment, and then moving towards higher value added activities around participation in global value and supply chains. One of the biggest objectives for RIAF is promoting collaboration, and this is most significant for the first stream, Stream 1, and this is between business and education and research institutions. So we do have two streams under RIAF, the first being the Open Competitive Grants Program, and this is the stream where we're really supporting collaboration. Looking at a grant amount of minimum $2 million up to $20 million for Stream 1, and then looking then at priority precincts and growth and engine and emerging industries. And then for Stream 2, this is our open non-competitive grants program, and we're looking here at unique projects that are footloose, greenfield, they're catalytic, time sensitive and high value. So these projects typically are ones where we'll be in competition with other states or other countries to secure that investment. And the grant amounts available under that one are a minimum of $1 million up to $10 million maximum. I won't go into the detail of this particular slide, and as we mentioned, we will be providing this presentation afterwards. But essentially what this is talking about here is the fact that we have a multiple stage application process. So at the moment, we have expressions of interest open for both streams. Stream 1 will close the expressions of interest on the 14th of November, and then those that are successful through expression of interest are invited through to detailed application. Stream 2 is a little bit different in that the Office of Regional Economic Development will have a pre-submission meeting with potential applicants, and that will really help determine A, that they're in the right stream, and B, that they're going to be eligible for that particular fund. So after that pre-submission meeting, that's when they can enter the expression of interest stage. Next slide, thank you. As I mentioned, co-contribution is a critical component of this particular fund. So we do need to have 50% cash contribution for both streams 1 and 2. There are extenuating circumstances that we will consider, but the scenario that we're promoting at the moment is the minimum 50% total cost contribution. Next slide. In terms of the eligible applicants, we are looking at businesses that do have an ABN, and they need to be one of the following of business types that are listed there on the screen. They need to be registered for GST. They need to be able to demonstrate that they're financially viable and that they'll be able to remain so during the process of the project. And they also need to have at least $20 million public liability insurance. Next slide. In terms of the projects, we have 93 eligible project locations across regional New South Wales. This does exclude Sydney, Newcastle and Wollongong. It is really focused on activating regional, and then we need to be demonstrating that the project would not incur in regional New South Wales without this government support. we do need to have all projects completed by the 30th of May. And we need to be able to see that these projects will deliver significant economic, social and environmental outcomes. And again, delivering benefits across multiple organisations. And that's really pointing towards that collaboration approach that we're seeking for Stream 1 in particular. Next slide. I'm going to hand back to Mark now just to talk about a couple of projects that do have a really strong collaboration focus, just to give you a flavour of the sorts of things we're looking for. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Joe. So yeah, look, these are 3 examples of collaboration projects, and I think it's really important just to kind of run through these, just to give you an idea of the types of projects that we're looking for in this fund. So really, as Joe had mentioned, catalytic is a really key thing. We're trying to catalyse new industry, definitely as part of this fund. Circular Plastics Australia, I think, is a great example. So a joint venture between Pact Group, Acai, Cleanaway and Coca-Cola. And really, this was a conglomerate that came together to establish Australia's largest PET recycling facility in Albury. And facility, great success, processing around 1 billion bottles each year to produce over 20,000 tonnes of recycled PET. So as mentioned, this was a facility or a capability that had not existed in regional New South Wales, and through a funding mechanism, we were able to actually support the establishment of that facility. And another great one is around EOS, the Australian Satellite Manufacturing Hub in South Jerrabomberra. So again, that's one of our regional job precincts. The project was jointly led by Electro Optic Systems and Nova Systems, along with Gilmore Space. And effectively, through a funding mechanism, particularly around the Modern Manufacturing Initiative and support from the state government, it was enabling the establishment of a design, manufacturing and testing facility for satellites. So again, a facility that did not exist in Australia, and through a funding mechanism, we were able to actually establish this capability. And as you can see here in the text, around 375 jobs once the facility was operational.
Thanks, Mark. I've got up on screen here some of the eligible and ineligible costs to give you an idea of the sorts of things that we will be able to fund. So purchase of land, equipment, machinery, fitting out of facilities and buildings is all acceptable costs. Upgrades to plant and equipment, and then knowledge sharing costs as well. Contingency up to 25%, and also some project management and admin costs. Things that we won't be looking to fund are, understandably, repayment of existing debt, any of those operational costs ongoing about admin, maintenance, anything in that space, wages and salaries, rental expenses, and importantly, costs that are incurred prior to receiving that letter of offer of a successful outcome for the fund. So that's a really important one for businesses that are looking to commence their project. Thank you. Similar to Stream 1, Stream 2 eligible applicants are here on the screen. They are all the same categories as we saw previously. Next slide. And then eligible projects also have the same eligibility as we outlined for Stream 1. The difference here is that we also outlined that if projects do require funding from both Australian and New South Wales Government, that is acceptable in order to realise the total project outcomes. And we also need to understand whether or not these projects have already received New South Wales Government funding for the same outputs and outcomes. Thank you. So the timelines for both Stream 1 and 2 are on the screen here. Expressions of interest for Stream 1 are closing on the 14th of November, so just a little bit under 2 weeks to go now. Detailed applications will then close on the 24th of February, and then we're looking to provide application outcomes in May 2023. For both Stream 1 and Stream 2, we'll need to have projects complete by May 2025. And Stream 2 is a little bit different. As I mentioned previously, we do need to have that pre-submission meeting, and we're encouraging businesses to have that at their earliest opportunity. They technically won't close expressions of interest until the 31st of December 2024, but if funds are exhausted before then, then the fund will be closed. We do have some timelines in there around turning around detailed application outcomes for Stream 2 in a timely manner, just because we're looking to attract those time-sensitive projects into the state. Next slide. We've included here some of the support that's available that you can have a read through. The majority of information is available on that website address there. We've got guidelines for both Stream 1 and Stream 2. That's probably another key piece of information that I would point you to. It has quite a lot of detail in terms of assessment criteria, eligibility, LGAs that are included in Regional New South Wales, that sort of information. And down the bottom here, we also have the 20-year economic vision for New South Wales Government, as well as the regional economic development strategies that will be key to businesses in terms of strategic alignment.
I might just add to that, sorry, just before we go to questions, we have a pretty strong network of business development managers across regional New South Wales. So I think we've got around 70 across regional New South Wales that effectively cover all areas. And if you do need assistance or you want to talk through your project in more detail, we can definitely connect you to a business development manager and they can provide you assistance through the process. So a really valuable service and worth connecting to. So I think that brings us to the end of the presentation. And if there are any questions, we will respond to them in writing. So we'll make sure that we do that within the next couple of days. I guess thank you everyone for your time. We really do encourage applications, particularly around Stream 1. We've only got 2 weeks left of the stream being open. If you do feel like you've got a project that's suitable and meets the criteria, please do submit an expression of interest into the fund, and then we can work from there. But thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you.